Looking for motivation, you're looking for help to stick to something for longer than you actually do. You're looking for help on how to learn something new. You're looking for help on how to start something. You're looking for help of staying consistent. Any of these things that you want to figure out, the one-stop solution is systems. Now, I've spoken previously about my journey to becoming a millionaire and how systems are going to help me and all of that stuff, but I haven't made an in-depth video about it until now. And since in my previous video, which I'll have it show up here, I talk about what to do to have unlimited motivation with the use of Envy. Go ahead and check it out if you want to watch and know more. But in that, I also spoke about how I am somebody that firmly believes in systems to outlast or overpower any other form of doing anything. If I were to give a term for systems, I would simply put it as setting things in place to make anything efficient and seamless. Now, when I say anything, I mean literally anything. Businesses use systems. There are so many people that talk about building systems and processes in your business and in learning and even relationships to a certain degree. But except in relationships, you're involving another person's feelings and your feelings also, and feelings can be volatile. So that's a little bit different. But sure, you could use systems in relationships too. So for example, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you something very simple that I do that helps me, and that is a system that is very bulletproof. And again, it doesn't have to do with motivation and life and like going after it. It can be very simple stuff too. And that is, so I am very forgetful. I leave stuff at places and I've lost a lot of things because I've just forgotten to pick them up or forgotten to take it. And that's something I realized early on. Again, by early on, I mean by the time I turned 19 or 20, but better late than never. So what do I do right now to prevent myself from forgetting things or leaving things behind? Very simple. For example, my lunch box. I often pack my lunch to work and then I leave and I forget it there. So what I've started to do is I take my Gadi keys or my scooter keys and I keep it on top of my lunch box. Now I'm not going to forget my scooter keys because I cannot fly and go to work. I have to take my scooter. So by keeping it on top of my lunch box after I pack it, at no means am I ever forgetting my lunch box. I go to work, I pack everything, I'm ready. I'm like, okay, let's go. I put my bag on. Immediately I go and take my Gadi keys and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot lunchbox. Let's take that too. And I do this with so many things. I do it when I go to the gym. I usually leave my jacket. I've lost so many jackets when I play football and stuff because I just leave it in the ground and I come back. So what do I do now? Instead of keeping my jacket somewhere in the side or in some corner, every day I remove my jacket, I'll fold it and I'll keep it right on top of my bag. That way, when I'm done working out, I'm not going to leave my bag in the gym because that has my phone and that has my Gadi keys and all of that in it. So I'm automatically just going to pick up my jacket too, put it on, and I'm out of there. So that is one small example of how you can use systems in anything of your life. It does not have to be motivation. It does not have to be rigorous stuff or high discipline. And I feel like sometimes people confuse systems with like, oh yeah, you need to be really robotic and really static. No, it's just making things more efficient and better than they already are. It's like just adding a process to things. Now, since you've got a fair idea of how systems work, let me give you a brief about what to do to set out systems. First of all, you need to identify problems. Now, in my life, like I said, being forgetful was a problem. And I had to do something about it. I could not just continue to be forever forgetful because that's a problem. And especially as we grow older, if you're just a forgetful human and you're okay with it, either you're too snobby or you're too spoiled or you're just careless and you don't give a shit about anything in life. And I'm neither of those. So at least I'd like to think so. But I had to figure out a way to stop doing that. Now, there are a lot of other ways also in which I've figured out that I need systems in life. Like with the YouTube videos, for example, could be another reason or another example of how I set out systems. When I started creating videos, which I know is not so long ago, but about 6 months ago, I would start recording and there would be so many things that I would have forgotten or not started. Like I wouldn't have started the microphone, or I wouldn't have set the lights the right way, or I wouldn't have set the camera in the right position, or something or the other. And I'd have to redo. So like a lot of videos, I was literally doing 3-4 times, like multiple takes, simply because I would have just forgotten one thing and then I have to redo it. So I set out proper systems. Now I have a order, a procedure for which I set out my whole setup in. First, I get the mic in, I hook it up to my chair and I get it set up. Then I put this chair where I sit down and I hook that up so that, okay, the first two things, mic is something that I used to forget a lot. So I've got my mic hooked up. Then next is the cameras. I'll set up both of my cameras and I'll set up the lighting, and then after that I'll make sure that the audio is working in the laptop and the camera, everything is correct. I check everything once and for all before I start, and then I sit down to record. So it's just as simple as that. You figure out problems, and the earlier you set systems, the better, because the lesser the damage is caused. In business, and a lot of successful businesses, they talk about it too. You analyze your business and you mitigate whatever your loss making thing is. So it's called Minimax strategy. Again, this is from the Game Theory book. I've mentioned this before, but you basically identify your biggest loss making constraint, which in my case was re-recording my videos, because that used to take a lot of energy and effort and used to make the whole process very demotivating. And you maximize on fixing that. So that way, whatever problem is being caused in your business or whatever it is, you've fixed that, and then you're probably going to go on to build things around it and fix other problems. Now, I don't know about business again in person because I haven't started one of my own, but I've heard people say that systems are very important in business. And also simply because when you start like a business and stuff, right, at some point you want to be able to have it run on its own. You do not want to have to go to work every single day and make sure everybody's doing everything perfectly, because that's going to be taxing. You want to be looking at expanding and all of these different things. So what do you do then? You create systems so that things almost work like a machine. In fact, machines are probably the best comparison for systems. Why are machines so much more efficient than humans? Because they follow the same process and it's the same thing again and again and again. And there's no moving things around. There's no emotions involved. There's nothing involved. So figure out what are things that you need to solve in your life immediately. It could be your friendships. It could be your studies. It could be you trying new things. It could be you putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Figure out what part of it exactly are you struggling with and build a system around it. Now, what I have experienced with systems, and when you start building systems and getting into it, there is going to be a lot of fine tuning. It is very important to make your systems adaptable. There are so many constraints that can come up when you're building a system, just because we do not have the right answers to build systems around everything. For example, when I started content creation, I didn't know what would be the right system for me to set out on creating content and all of this stuff. But once I started doing trial and error, first I tried like setting up the lighting first, and then I tried the audio, and then sure, sometimes maybe the audio wouldn't set up, or sometimes the lighting wouldn't set up as well, or maybe I would move the lighting because I'd be setting up the audio. All of these different things. So then I figured out, okay, adapt your systems to make them the most effective and the most efficient. So your first try at a system is not going to be perfect. And another thing is with complex systems like getting up in the morning early, or the other day I was telling one of my friend, he was like, I can't get up in the morning early and work out. Like that's something I want to do. I know that's the best thing that I have to do, but I can't. Like it's a mental task, and it's really not. If you do your systems right, if you say that, okay, I'm going to go to sleep at this time, I'm going to eat this food before 2 hours before going to sleep, I'm going to read before going to sleep and not use my phone, those are systems that will bulletproof you getting up in the morning. And honestly, in the beginning, when you set out systems, again, like I said, you need to adapt, you need to explore different options, but at the same time, you need to push through. You need to push through for at least a month or two. When I started building the habit of reading, it was a task for me to sit and be able to focus and read when I started out. But eventually, you know what happened? I can just pick up a book, any book right now, literally, and read it without any problem, because it's not a task anymore. So setting out systems in the beginning can be tough, but in the long run, they are the best solution. Now again, I said this in my previous video, I'll say it again. Systems are bulletproofing anything in life. Your emotions, circumstances, outside things that happen and affect you, like the weather or somebody says something to you, it does not matter. If I have a system of creating a video every week for however long it takes until I reach my goals with YouTube, that is a system that I will stick to. No matter if the weather is bad, no matter if I have to record the video 10 times again, it does not matter. That's part of a system that I have set for myself. And is it challenging? It is. Is the reward or the fruit of it going to be sweet? Most definitely is. And also, recently I was watching this video that motivation and like successful people depend on motivation and stuff. It's bullshit. Like I know that I'm not successful or anything. It's bullshit. Like I think we have dramatized the word motivation so much, because motivation is not gonna be there. Like it's just something that you have to accept. And the sooner you realize that, the better, because we all expect us to have this insane drive to keep going and to keep pushing. But there are 101 situations where it just isn't going to be there. So you have to build systems around it. You cannot work on your emotions or on external circumstances. So yeah guys, I hope you got a brief understanding on systems. I know I didn't go into detail about how I create my systems for different things, because again, like I said, circumstances and situations, you have to adapt them to it. And your situation might be different from mine, and the way you might have to go about creating systems can be very different for yourself. But you just think about it this way: you have this bigger goal, you have this bigger thing, whatever it is you want to do, or whatever you're already doing and you want to solve it. You look at that, you figure out what is the problem, you create a system around it, like keeping the keys on top of the jacket, or just doing things one step in advance if you're forgetful, and stuff like that. Be adaptive, be flexible, experiment with it. It won't happen in like 1 or 2 months. I haven't gotten most of my systems right together, not even close yet. But like I said, it's a process. You keep adapting, you keep experimenting, and keep going. And before I ended this video, I've been wanting to say this for a while guys, but I just feel like sometimes really need to step out of it sometimes and just be nice for no reason at all. I shared this beautiful reel on my story the other day, that all of us really think that we're the main character wherever and anywhere, but we're really not. We're all just side roles in everybody's life, and side roles are the people that really make an impact. So just be nice without any necessity of it. Smile at somebody, talk to somebody, greet somebody, tell somebody to have a nice day. I think the world could use more love than hate. If you're somebody that's resorting to go into the hate side of things, there's way too many of them. So if you want to be different, then probably just be nice, smile a little, laugh a little, make people laugh, make people happy. And that's it for this video guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and this was something that one of you requested for, so here you go. And I hope you guys have a really good weekend and a blast of a week ahead. And that's it for this video guys, and until the next video, bye.